catwalks of Paris, London and Milan. And she reckons she can teach me to screen print fabric in about 3 hours, so I'm up for that. Liz Lippiatt has an impressive background in the world of haute couture. She sold her finely decorated accessories to some of the world's most discerning high-end stores. But her start was a far cry from the glamour of Fifth Avenue.
Because when I started in my father's cowshed on the farm...
Is that how you really started, in your father's cowshed?
Oh, yeah, no, I did. No, Dad let me have an old shed. I set up the print table.
Today, Liz prints her own designs onto fine fabrics, which are supplied to the likes of Harrods and Liberties. It's a case of from the cowshed to the catwalk.
I did a fashion degree, which meant I understood the cloth and how it was going to be used and the cut of the cloth. And that's what's led me into the world of haute couture.
I bet it's highly competitive.
It is. It's a pretty cutthroat world, yes. And in a way, that's why I prefer the textile side of it. I do love the decoration of the cloth.
I hope Liz is going to be gentle with me, as I'm going to be her apprentice. First, we're trying a simple cushion pattern.
Well, I thought we could do something which one can easily do at home. What we need to do is to make a stencil, which is going to be our pattern. So you can take a really, really simple piece of paper and cut something which is like a paper chain. Because I know you've got a lovely daughter, I thought maybe...
Meredith?
Yeah, I thought we could take her initial and use that.
Screen printing materials are readily available and affordable, and the style can be seen on everything from tea towels to high street fashion.
Lovely.
The next stage is to put the stencil onto the silk screen.
It's called a silk screen, but of course these days it's polyester, and I'm going to iron it because it's
a bit crumply.
An iron-on paper.
See.
And it just sticks down. So there we are. It's ready to print.
Liz uses a traditional form of fabric screen printing, which has its origins in Japanese stenciling. Silk was stretched on frames to support hand-painted stencils, a process used by William Morris.
This is your tool for printing. This is a squeegee, and that's what's going to force the dye through your stencil and onto your fabric. Beautiful.
Screen printing hit the mainstream in the 1950s and 60s when pop artist Andy Warhol used this technique to create art, his iconic Marilyn being the most famous example.
And we can lift the screen. Hopefully it'll all come through perfect.
That's great.
Lovely.
Handmade.
Exactly.
Nothing's the same twice, is it? Much like wheel writing and newspaper printing, the handcrafted side of screen printing is being swept away by new technology.
Now, much of it is digital printing.
Yes, you can tell the difference, can't you?
Totally, yes, because it's much more superficial. It just sits on the surface. You don't get that same depth of colour.
You're right. But there's still a market for screen printing by hand. Liz's speciality is the textured finish known as Devore. It's this technique which is so beloved at the high-end fashion houses. This is quite labour-intense.
Yes, yeah. Well, anything which is hand-done is quite labour-intensive.
It's a very delicate process, but Liz has agreed to let me try it.
Now we're going to use what you cut out from your original stencil, so we're going to make full use of all your artwork.
Like Meredith?
Yes. Place them onto this open screen. We just need to touch them with the iron just to make them stay. So I'm going to pour the Devore paste into our well.
So that's going to just sort of burn that out the back?
It's going to burn out the root of the pile.
The only thing left standing at the end of this process is my Meredith M's. The erosion is then accelerated by heat.
There, you can see it. You just put your nail against it. You can see it's just crumbling away.
And that'll all come out in the wash?
It should do. Fingers crossed. You can see it's starting to work. Still needs a bit more washing off.
You can see all the little lumps, can't you, just falling off?
Yeah.
And now you're going to put some colour onto it.
Exactly, yeah. Okay. Simple dye, and you use salt in with the dye because that attracts the dye to the fibres. And this you can do at home just on a stove in a saucepan.
Yeah. How long should you leave that in there for?
10 minutes minimum, really.
Right, now we just need to play the waiting game. If that hasn't convinced you to try it out for yourselves, I don't know what will. In just a few hours, with the excellent guidance of our master craftswoman, I've grasped the basics. I can't wait to see the fruits of my labour. Is that the same piece?
Yeah.
God, that looks so rich. That's beautiful.
Luscious, isn't it?
That's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
I can't believe that's the same piece.
I know. It is. It's magical.
I can't recommend screen printing enough. If I can do it, so can you.